Hello, I'm Mike Hayes, back with more ideas on how to create strong and interesting jazz lines on guitar. This is the third video in this series, so if you'd like to check out the previous videos, I'll put a link in the description box below. The most important thing to remember at this stage is that these are all foundation studies in improvisation, and the key is to practice all these things slowly, so our fingers get to know the patterns on the guitar fingerboard and the sounds make an impression on our musical ear. Later on, when all these things become part of our subconscious knowledge, we'll be able to do things at a fantastic speed. But for the moment, the thing is to practice everything slowly and accurately. Okay, having said that, let's get started. There's lots of good things in store for you today. We'll start today's session by creating a jazz line through the bridge of jaw-do. Once again, you'll notice this is a cycle progression. Our first step will be to create a guide tone line through the chord progression. As we mentioned in a previous session, when we move through a cycle progression made up of dominant seventh chords, the third of one chord becomes the seventh of the next chord. Okay, let's have a listen to that guide tone line. This first jazz line that we're going to practice features a combination of arpeggios, scales, and guide tone lines. For the first two beats of each bar, I'm going to play an arpeggio, and then for beats 3 and 4, I'm going to play a scale. The arpeggio will be ascending, and the scale will be descending. Notice how the first and last note of each bar traces the guide tone line that we just heard. In this next jazz line, our focus is on arpeggios. For the first two beats, I'm playing a dominant ninth arpeggio. On beats 3 and 4, I'm playing a descending dominant seventh arpeggio. And once again, don't forget to keep your eye out for the guide tone line on the first and last beat of the bar. For this next jazz line, I'm using a flat 9 to connect the arpeggios. I'm playing an ascending dominant 7th flat 9 arpeggio, followed by a descending dominant 7th arpeggio. Let's go back to that guide tone idea, only this time we'll start on the 7th. Therefore, we'll be starting on the note F, F being the 7th of G7. Let's have a listen. Okay, now with that guide tone line in mind, let's create another jazz line through that chord progression. And for something different, this time I'm going to use a dominant 7th flat 9 in both instances, that is ascending and descending. Again, keep your eye and ear out for that guide tone line that we've just created. Okay, let's leave the B section for a moment and go back and work on creating some variety in bars 7 and 8 of the A section of Jaw Do. And that's where we have 2 bars of A flat 7. This time I'm going to play an A diminished arpeggio over the A flat 7 background. And by doing this, we're creating an A flat 7 flat 9 sound. Let's begin by playing the A diminished arpeggio. Keep in mind as you play this arpeggio that any note could be considered the root note. Here's the same arpeggio, only with a little bit of variety in the note sequencing. Okay, it's time to do some review and apply many of the things that we've been working on. In this example, I'm going to play right through the entire chord progression for Jaw Do. So we'll be doing the A, B, A format. Before we play it, I'll just give you a quick overview of what I'm setting out to achieve. In the A1 section, that's the first time we play the A section, I'm going to use that Charlie Christian style run that we learnt in the last session. For the A2 section, that is the second time we play the A flat 7 chord, I'm going to play an A diminished arpeggio over the A flat 7. For the B section, I'm going to connect the chords by using that flat 9 arpeggio. And then when we get to the last A section, I'm going to play a blues style fill, which is inspired by the tune Jaw Do. Here goes. that's it for today, folks. I do hope you enjoyed the lesson, and I hope there's something in this lesson that'll help you develop your own musical style on guitar. If you enjoyed this session and felt you got some value out of it and you'd like to support this channel, there's a link in the description below this video. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on all the good stuff. And if you like this video, don't forget to give us a like. It really helps us out. Until next time, all the very best with your guitar playing. Bye for now.